if you can address a problem early before it blossoms, generally you're all better off. And I think this is kind of serving that. And in that vein, I want to mention that when I was interviewed for county employment some number of years ago, one of the questions I remember being asked was, how are you going to obtain feedback from users at the airport? That question is attributable to Commissioner Lori Carson, who was interviewing me that day. So that was a really interesting question, and the answer is not as relevant as the fact that she was concerned about and asked that question. The answer did involve the internet and a suggestion box and that sort of stuff, but maybe we all need to ask that. How are we going to know? I mean, I have no idea. People I talk to on the street really represent the balance in the community. Because people that like me come up and talk to me, and the others don't, or maybe worse. Anyway, if I have 20 seconds left, one of the issues that came up was that the pound staff has reportedly informed people they will not allow them in to take pictures. There's a certain contingency in the community that would like to show and tell the pictures of the animals that are on death row there and hopefully find them homes. That might or might not be effective, but it drew a very negative reaction when they were told, no, you can't take pictures of them, we're not going to assist you in advertising these animals. I suspect there again that maybe managerial consideration of that decision beats having a formal agenda item here or something. So maybe someone can take a look. Thank you for the time.
I'll look into that, Mike.
Thank you for the time.
Recommendations are hiding out there.
Anybody else for public comment?
Hey, Nicole again. When I started the group, a lot of people thought it was for the same reason you think I started the group. I am home 24/7 almost every week. I know nothing about politics. I wanted to learn. I started the group. That is why I started the group. If he uses it to his advantage or disadvantage, more power to him. Every one of you guys can join and do the same thing. Nobody is blocked. I would really like you guys to speak for yourself, not for your seat, but you speak as yourself in the group, not for the chamber or anything else. Everybody should be allowed to do that. And I would love it if you guys would come in and correct some of the stuff if there's something wrong. But I did start it for myself, not for him. And you all did have a chance to join and still do. And I just trying to squash the rumor that I started it for him, because I didn't. I started it for myself to learn. Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment? Donna. Well, you're in the back.
Dale, you better.
I think I get in line here is what's going to happen.
That's going to be quiet. I'm sitting back here thinking, I'm not. When I was in office, and it was an election year, I had an ethics violation filed against me by a former city councilman, who ironically enough now is in prison. And the charges were frivolous, they were untrue, and I have to tell you, he did not have an attorney to file that. But I will tell you that the consequences to that was that I personally, as an elected official, have no protection, and it took me 1 year of my own time and my own money to clear my name for a whim. And so I would urge you that when you do this, you take it seriously. It's not something to go after somebody. And I will also tell you that the consequences were I had full intent. I was so upset and mad to turn around and go after this person. The backside of that and the unfairness is that once you've been charged, you are guilty until proven innocent. And there is absolutely no repercussion to the person who charges you. So having been through that myself, it really does strike a raw chord with me. I just urge you to be very fair and to be very cognizant about what you're doing and the consequences that come after that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Setterstrom? Shane, just to answer a question, I want you to know the rumor mill runs both ways. It's not only what you hear bad about you guys, I get it too. I mean, I'm not favored. So whatever you're getting, I'm getting just the opposite. What I am upset about is everybody knows Marty Westman's a friend of mine, and I think for you to bring up ethics against them before this election is pretty low, because I think that's what this is all about.
Anybody else for public comment?
Well, some tough acts to follow here. Dale Tyson. Gentlemen, during the time I was in the media for about 24 years, I had several jobs in radio. Oh, I'm wearing a radio t-shirt. I just happen to be wearing it today. One of being a public service director. With this misinformation that we're all talking about, during my time here in Ely at KDSS and KELY, we had a show called Community Focus. It's a live show. We invited Mr. Chachas, at the time he was mayor, to come on. He did come on. We invited many of the councilmen to come on. Some of them did, some of them didn't. We also had an open phone line for 30 minutes where people, the listeners, call in and talk directly to the councilman, directly to the mayor, so they can get your side of the story and you can get their side of the story. I think it's very beneficial. You might want to contact the radio stations here and see what they can do for you so that you guys can put out the information and you can be reached at the same time. You have 3 media outlets. You have 2 radio stations and a TV station. I think you should take advantage of it, and I thank you.
I think,
About a talk show where the audience could call in and ask.
Yeah, it's called Community Focus. Community Focus.
I think Mike Neese of the television station.
He had that. I don't know if that's still available.
It is.
It is? Okay.
I know I've asked Mike many times if he'd like to have me on. He hadn't.
No, I
I've seen Mike.
I have no connection with the TV station.
Chances on it.
He's afraid of his ratings.
Anybody else?
I'm Terry Lynn Diamond, and I'm the manager of the TV station, so I just wanted to let everyone know that we still have community focus. And we have a commercial on there that says, if you have any issues you would like to see discussed on our show, please let us know. We have not received any feedback from anyone, so anybody is allowed to come and address anything that they'd like to see discussed. And we will do our job to do the due diligence to get the people that need to answer those types of questions on the show so that it can be fair for everyone. Thank you.
Ma'am, could you bring a card down to City Hall so we can distribute that?
Sure.
Contact?
Sure.
I thought I recognized you over there. Just couldn't place it.
Famous TV star.
Anybody else for public comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'm concerned about these so-called ethics violations when in fact, Mr. DeCiano never disclosed the fact that his son worked for Mr. Carson. One time, yet repeatedly, he has favored Mr. Carson. In fact, just recently with the Crawford Street Water and Sewer Project, he said, let's just give him the project, knowing full well that a project for a certain amount of money has to go out to bid. Mr. Biden protected the supervisor for not having a drug test. Made a simple, honest mistake. What about the employees that individual fired? Didn't they make a simple, honest mistake? And then shortly thereafter, someone happened to pave or pound sand along the lot that the Copper Queen has. Isn't that an ethical consideration? I brought that up to you folks. Nothing was said, and now we're going after one individual? That's wrong, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Day also did some surveying at the Copper Queen, knowing full well that, and you've heard it before, he's not a qualified land surveyor. There was no disclosure by Mr. Bybee. He was there. I saw him surveying. I go to the Regional Transportation Commission in regards to that concern I have on that road. I want to know, when was it done? When was the public hearing? He didn't have that. Nobody was notified. And if by chance it were, provide the information. You haven't done that. Mr. Mayor, I brought before you concerns about fence heights. Back in April 21st, 2010, my brother got a notice about a fence height that was a proper height. I think it was just harassment when in fact you still have that iron curtain around City Hall. You're in the wrong zone. You haven't done anything with the sidewalks up here on 1st Street. You haven't done anything on the ADA violations around the National Guard Armory. You got a building inspector, and he's worried about some poor individual who just happened to get a home from FEMA. His wife is sick, and we're worried about housing plans that come or are needed from a home that is basically endorsed by FEMA. Let the man move in his house. Let him move his wife into a safe home. You guys are mean. I've never seen such mean people in my life. Shame on you. How many times have I told you? If you can't do the job, you've got to go. You people have got to go. You've got to stop this. The community is down to 4,000 people. It was almost 6,000 when I was mayor. Criticize me all the time. And look at you, Mr. Mayor. You look at our community. We're going downhill. You want to take some pride? Then show the effort.
But when you were mayor the first time or the second time?
The first time it was Ray Guns. The second time, same
20
thing.
years.
Only in the last 6 years since you've been in, we've been going downhill.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Anybody else from public comment? Alpha time. All right, with that, we'll close public comment and go on to number 12, adjournment.
Move. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Update the city council.
What's that?
Update the city council.
Oh, you look like your mom. Is that what he said? My hearing is what it should be. But you are very
How you doing, George? Closing comment was very good. Better, it would be better tone even than usual. Sounds like it was your speech.
Not quite.
I know it was good. It had nice flow. I think they were all. I think today was a maybe uncomfortable day, but people were listening to something.
Hopefully.
I tried to make mine look good. I said, it's kind of where you got to be. If you can, if you hear one thing, because obviously Biden's hearing stuff he doesn't like. If there's something we can even do to suppress it.
Open the meetings.
No one's trying to. Well, let's put it this way. In the Revolutionary War, people were printing crap to blow up the British, And no doubt there'll be people. You've seen some of this stuff. It's so inflammatory. People will intentionally crap. You can't stop that. That's timeless. That'll go on
You
forever.
go on the internet, my business is closed. Did you know that? Somebody posted that my business was closed.
On Facebook? I hadn't seen it.
On the internet. I'm not sure where. I had friends come in and tell me. I don't know who posted it. I don't know how to take care of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know where it is. It's hard. I did hear that Extreme Accessories is in fact closing. I think they're telling people that at the counter.
New owners.
New owners.
That's what I hear, but I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, that's interesting. Because I have not ever corresponded with Maureen until about 2 weeks ago. When she left the hospital board. And I said I wanted to thank you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I didn't know she resigned.
So, hey, Mike? Yes, have a good evening, Mike. Thank you, Ron. You too. Happy evening.
private part of the bar.
Move out of the way. The meeting's over. Let's get out.
Yeah, the meeting's over. Late.
Let's get out. You threatening me again?
Yeah, I am.
You are. Okay, I'll file a complaint.
Go ahead. You've been told the meeting is over. You're not.
Then get everybody out.
Volunteer guest.
Don't go picking on me. Try doing your job and be a good public servant.
I'm off work now. I'm a volunteer fireman, and you're not welcome in here. Late.
Then you better have everybody get out. Quit discriminating.
Garbage place to put this, I'll take care
Outside.
They ought to probably have it. Oh well. It depends on whose side you're on. Andy Fisher is a huge man. Well, he does it when I'm not around. Doesn't look like it.
This has been a Georgetown Media production. George Chachis reporting. The preceding program was sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer, at 570 Almond in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Ely TV, Channel 3-2 in Ely, Nevada. Local news telecasts can be seen Monday through Friday at 12:30 and 6:30 p.m. on this station.